Hello friends, I am Rameshwar and I welcome you all on my YouTube channel. Friends, today we discuss about the seventh important part for the agricultural economics, and in which we discuss about the topic entitled as land reforms in India. Keep in mind one thing, the topic land reforms in India is too much important for different competitive examinations, and we discuss today regarding the perspective of the land reforms, pre-independence land reforms, we could say from the British rule, what could be the post-independence land reforms, and finally a current different types of Bhoodan and Gramdan social movement. So be with me till the last to know all the concerns from the same. तो चलिए फ्रेंड्स बढ़ते हैं आज के सेशन में। आज हम देखने वाले हैं सेवंथ इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक फ्रॉम द एग्रीकल्चर इकोनॉमिक्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, एंड द टॉपिक नेम्ड एज द लैंड रिफॉर्म्स इन इंडिया, in which the major content we discuss, the contents are like land reforms perspective, what is the meaning of the term land reforms, when it is started. So from that point of view, historical background, the starting of the land reforms from the British rule, तो तब वहाँ पे क्या पैमाने थे, like this way. Then we talk about the post-independence land reforms, and finally the movement from the social point of view, Bhoodan and Gramdan movement. Okay, so start from the first slide, that is the concept of land reforms. अब यहाँ पे देखिए, when we heard the term land reforms, it is typically with concern to the equitable distribution of the land. Okay, so यहाँ पे देखिए, land reforms refers to the efforts to reform the ownership and regulation of land in India. Okay, so it clearly means that those lands which are redistributed by the government from landholders to landless people for agricultural or for their special purpose. So it is nothing but the efforts taken for ownership distribution or for the regulation of the land redistribution program to the needy people. We also take it that land reform includes regulation of ownership, ये हमने देख लिया है, operation, leasing and sale, and inheritance of land. यहाँ पे हम कह सकते हैं redistribution of land और equitable distribution of land throughout the parts of the country. That is nothing but the land reforms. Now we talk about what is the background during the British rule. यहाँ पे देखिए, land reforms have the roots in the British rule. हम कह सकते हैं British actually came into the India as a name of East India Company during 16th century. तब उन्होंने एक्चुअली खुद का साम्राज्य प्रोलिफरेट किया था. They actually came into the at the time of Mughal Emperor Jahangir. During that time they actually won the battle of the Plassey and Buxar ने उन्होंने जीता था 1764 में. During that time, from the 1765 onwards, they got the political control over Bengal and the different types of regions or the Bihar region. तब उन्होंने actually खुद का साम्राज्य बढ़ाने के लिए, पैसा कमाने के लिए उन्होंने तब ये रूल चालू किया. And during that time, they actually do the zamindari rule, so that they get acquainted of the different money from the people. Okay, तो अब देखिए सबसे पहले the permanent settlement, it was during 1793. ये स्टार्ट किया था द कर्नल एट दैट टाइम इन द ब्रिटिश आर्मी, चार्ल्स कॉर्नवालिस. यहाँ पे इन्होंने तीन सिस्टम चालू की थी. फर्स्ट सिस्टम इज द जमींदारी सिस्टम. नाउ व्हाट हैपन इन टर्म्स ऑफ द जमींदारी सिस्टम, लैंडलॉर्ड्स is the main responsible person, or he is the middleman between the state and the, we could say, village people. He has the responsibility to actually manage both the things, and this system is beneficial in the region of Bengal and Bihar. That was started in the initial phase. Second is the rayatwari system. Here we could say rayat means actually the person who cultivate the thing. जो आदमी या फार्मर काम करते हैं उसे हम रैत कहते हैं. So the concept started by Thomas Munro, and he said that according to him land revenue system could be generated. So he, देखिए यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था, in terms of जमींदारी सिस्टम, the middleman is the जमींदार or the landlord, और यहाँ पे वो मिडलमैन को कट कर दिया है. So there is a direct correlation between the rayat and the state. So this could be possible with the help of rayatwari system. The rayatwari system could not withhold for more than 5 years, but it is still very much happen in terms of the Madras region, Assam and Bombay. Then we talk about the Mahalwari region. देखिए Mahalwari region typically with concern to the mahals in the particular village. So this system is important from the particular village territory. This system started by the Holt Mackenzie in 1822. It actually grabs entire village. यहाँ पे क्या होता था, entire village के लिए एक टैक्स फिक्स किया होता था. So it is the responsibility of entire village to collect that much amount सो हर एक को एक दूसरे को प्रमोट करना रहता था कि हमें इतना टैक्स देना है, लाइक दिस वे. It is actually useful in UP and Punjab. So these are the three systems under the British rule. Now we talk about the major objective of the land reforms. The first is to make redistribution of the land to the needy people, to the people who actually in the way for the cultivation. Second, to remove impediments to increase the agricultural production. यहाँ पे देखिए there are too much impediments, means the actual ownership is only in the hands of few landlords. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं हमें कम करना है, so that production could be increased in a better manner. Then to legitimize tenancy with the ceiling limit. यहाँ पे क्या हो गया था, the tenant means nothing but the person who actually take the land from the landlords with yearly returns to them. पर अब इसमें क्या हो गया, जिन्होंने 12 साल या उसके ऊपर टेनेंसी की है तो उनको वो रिफॉर्म के हिसाब से उनको वो लैंड दी गई. सो दैट इज नथिंग बट द लेजिटिमेट टेनेंसी. देन वी टॉक अबाउट टू एंश्योर लैंड सीलिंग एंड सरप्लस लैंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. जितनी भी सरप्लस लैंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है फॉर द विलेज और फॉर द एनी टेरिटरी, दैट कुड बी गिवन टू द मल्टीपल पीपल हु आर एक्चुअली कल्टिवेटिंग द थिंग्स. जो एक्चुअली काम करेगा, किसान जो काम करेगा, the one who actually cultivates got the land from this concern. To eliminate all elements of exploitation and social injustice. मतलब weaker section को भी हमें promote करना पड़ेगा, so that we have to provide the land to the weaker section also. Fine. Then we talk about land reforms which constitute the holding attempts. Okay, so इसमें सबसे पहले देखिए land reforms with legislation. So here the legislation talking from गवर्नमेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, मे बी द सेंटर और द स्टेट, वो जो लेजिस्लेशन एक्ट बनाते हैं उस हिसाब से लैंड रिफॉर्म्स बनता है. इस बारे में हम लास्ट में बात करेंगे. लैंड रिफॉर्म्स फ्रॉम द कोअर्शन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, मतलब फोर्सफुली. सो हियर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ लैंड ग्रैब मूवमेंट भी बहुत से हो चुके थे. देन लैंड रिफॉर्म्स थ्रू orders, different types of protection of peasant, like example in Kerala, again in West Bengal. So these are the again social movement. And finally land reforms with social movements like Bhoodan and Gramdan. इस बारे में हम लास्ट में बात करेंगे. But still keep in mind one thing, this social movement started from the 1951 onwards. Okay, or we could say after independence. Fine. Now we talk about okay, so these are the different types of periods, or we could say 5-year plans, starting from the first to the 9th 5-year plan for 1997 to 2002. And there are major issues. हम खाली बात करेंगे 9th प्लान के बारे में. The major issues is nothing but the land degradation. लैंड का डिग्रेडेशन हो गया था. सो वी हैव टू मेक अ पॉलिसी ऑफ यूज ऑफ डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ अनयूटिलाइज्ड लैंड, जो लैंड वेस्ट या यूज ऑफ वेस्ट लैंड फॉर द कल्टिवेशन पर्पस. Just take a look about the all different types of plants and the quality interest areas for the same. Now we talk about land reforms post independence. अब देखिए what happened during the post independence. First one, the abolition of, यहाँ पे देखिए there are typically 5 important parameters. First, abolition of intermarriage. Second, tenancy reforms. Third one, fixing ceiling on land holding, consolidation of land holding, and finally we talk about cooperative farming. So these are the 5 reforms. Now talk one by one. First one, land reforms, in which nothing but the Zamindari Abolition Act, in which we could say removing the intermediary persons, that is most important, and empower the cultivators. देखिए जमींदारी में क्या था, there is a intermediary person, that is nothing but the landholds, but according to the act, Zamindari Abolition Act, we have to remove the intermediary, we have to remove the middleman. That is most important. Why it is so? Because we have to empower the cultivators, empower the farmers. Then second one, tenancy regulation. यहाँ पे देखिए what happened during that time, the rent or the tax levied on the farm is much more, nearly 35 to 65% of the actual or annual produce. इतना ज़्यादा प्रतिशत में वहाँ पे रेंट होता था. So it is definitely exorbitant in nature. So here security is definitely, we have to give the security to the tenants, and different types of reformations are needed. यहाँ पे देखिए it is too much successful from the Communist Party of India. They actually make a successful Operation Barga in 1977, so that they are make a successful attempt in terms of West Bengal and Kerala. Okay. Then the third one, land ceiling act. यहाँ पे देखिए, or what could be the fixing maximum size of the land holding per family or per household. हर एक फैमिली के, हर एक इंडिविजुअल के हिसाब से what could be the maximum size of the land holding capacity. If suppose there is a surplus land, then land could be given to the Gram Sabha. That could be the village from point of view. And again, from the concern, policy 1971 is there. And from the policy, if suppose there is a Benami land, which यहाँ पे देखिए the issue could be arised after the land sealing act is nothing but the बेनामी land. यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, जितने बड़े लैंड होल्ड थे उनको पता चला कि सीलिंग एक्ट हो गया है, सो दे हैव द मैक्स साइज ऑफ द लैंड होल्डिंग. अब उन्होंने उसके बाद क्या किया, दे इंश्योर दैट द लैंड इज टुवर्ड्स देम. इसलिए उन्होंने क्या किया, जितने भी उनके रिलेटिव थे हर एक के नाम पे कुछ ना कुछ लैंड दे दी. So that is nothing but the Benami type of land. Okay, so that's why actually the land is in the hand of only them. उनके साथ ही रही, पर डेफिनेटली उनके नाम पे नहीं रही, रिलेटिव्स के नाम पे चली गई. सो दैट इज वन ऑफ द इशू अकॉर्डिंग टू द लैंड सीलिंग एक्ट. यहाँ पे देखिए मैक्स साइज ऑफ लैंड होल्डिंग इज 28 acre, और वी कुड से इट इज 28 acre in terms of the irrigated one and 54 in terms of the non-irrigated one or unfertile one. Fine. Now we talk about the consolidation of land holding. Fourth point, here the consolidation, it clearly means to reorganization or redistribution of fragmented lands into one plot. इसका मतलब देखिए, if we take example, एक विलेज है, वहां पे एक किसान के नाम से 4 जगह पे अलग अलग लैंड है और उसका एक एरिया भी बहुत छोटा है, एक एक कर उसके 4 जगह पे. सो रादर देन 4 डिफरेंट पार्ट्स, 4 एकड़ उसको एक ही जगह पे देना, दैट इज नथिंग बट द कंसोलिडेशन ऑफ लैंड होल्डिंग. इट कुड बी डन आइदर बाय द परचेस और आइदर बाय द वी कुड से म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ओके, सो इट इज डेफिनेटली सक्सेसफुल इन पंजाब एंड हरियाणा, बट इन अदर स्टेट इट इज नॉट सक्सेसफुली बिकॉज इट इज अ वॉलंटरी इन अदर पार्ट्स. सो सर्टन एडवांटेज, इट सेव्स सुपरविजन. डेफिनेटली यहाँ पे सुपरविजन बहुत बच जाता है, टाइम एंड लेबर कॉस्ट भी बच जाता है, एंड इट डेफिनेटली रिड्यूसेस द कॉस्ट ऑफ कल्टिवेशन, आल्सो द कॉस्ट ऑफ इरिगेशन. द सर्टन इश्यूज नॉट सक्सेसफुल थ्रू आउट द डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ द कंट्री एंड नीड फॉर currently there is a need for reconsolidation of the land, क्योंकि आज के कंडीशन में लैंड का रिकंसोलिडेशन बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. करंटली ओनली 1.8 hectare of the land is available for the per household, so that is required in reconsolidation. क्यों? क्योंकि जितनी अवेलेबल है that again in the fragmented area, एक ही विलेज में 4-5 जगह पे उतनी अवेलेबल, so that's why we require consolidation. Fifth one, cooperative farming. Here, to make farming profitable for small and marginal farmers, that is most important, so that make a group of individual make a group as a team, so it helps to increase the production with, we could say, mechanization. Different types of mechanization could be useful, could be utilized when there is a group of cooperative farming. Cost reduction, and it is definitely used for the more productivity with concern to the individual and the group one. Fine. Then we talk about Bhoodan and Gramdan's social movement. It started in the 1951 by the great Vinoba Bhave at Pochampalli in Telangana. Okay, so here he first of all urges, requests to the different types of landlord, landed peoples or the classes of the people to voluntarily surrender a part of their land to the landless farmers, to give them in the name of Bhoodan movement. Okay, so उसके बाद क्या हुआ, it paves the way for the Gramdan, which was inaugurated in 1952. Here a village was declared as a Gramdan village when at least 75% of its resident with 51% of the land signified their approval in writing from the Gramdan. The first village to come under the Gramdan was Magroth Haripur, Uttar Pradesh. बट देर इज अ इशू, जितने भी लोगों ने यहाँ पे डोनेट किया था फॉर द ग्रामदान एंड भूदान, इट इज सेड दैट मेनी पार्ट्स ऑफ द कंट्री डोनेटेड द लैंड इज अनफर्टाइल इन नेचर. ओके, and now we talk about the recent land reform. There are 2 recent land reforms. First one, Digital India Land Records Modernization Program 2008. So under this program, to improve the transparency in land records, maintenance systems and minimize the disputes between the people, state and the center. Here digitizing of the different types of maps, upgrade the surveys which are definitely needed for the different types of marking of the farm, settlement of records and definitely sustain for more prolonged period. Here clear title is most important for purchase, selling and different types of government transaction. Clear title is required with a specified timeline for quick transaction. And second one is the Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013. In second one, we could say compensation of payment given up to 4 times to the rural areas and up to 2 times to the urban areas. सो नो लैंड विल बी एक्वायर विदाउट ग्राम सभा कॉन्सेंट, ग्राम सभा ने अप्रूव करने के अलावा या अप्रूव जब तक नहीं होता तब तक वो लैंड एक्वायर नहीं की जा सकती. Social impact assessment, it is nothing but the SIA. So what is the value of social impact assessment? The value could be calculated here. No income tax and stamp duties, again there is an exemption for the stamp duty for the particular land. And acquiring land is sold to the third party. If suppose जो land ली है and still the land is sold to the third party within 3 years, so during that time the landholder could get up to 40% of the returns और up to 40% of the accumulated accelerated जितना रिटर्न होता है, जितना रिटर्न ज्यादा बढ़ा था उसमें से 40% उसको मिल सकता है. Okay friends, I think today's session is definitely useful to you. आज हमने देखा है the seventh important part from the agriculture economics, that is nothing but the land reforms in India, in which we discuss what is the different three-tier system from the British rule, nothing but the zamindari, rayatdari and mahalwari. So from that point of view, how they are implemented from the throughout part of India, and currently after post independence कौन-कौन से parts बचे थे. So definitely I think the session is useful too. If still you have any query, you could write me in the comment section. I will help you out for the same. And if it's your first time on my channel, then don't forget to click on like and subscribe button, hit on the bell icon. So thank you for today's session. Stay tuned for the next session.